Are PPP loans, payroll protection program loans, less than $150,000, are they going to be automatically forgiven? Ooh, I got an update on the PPP coming up right now. Hello, my name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Welcome to this channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Oh my goodness, haven't talked about the PPP program in a while, and the drama just continues. So the payroll protection program, once again, a quick recap, a huge part of small business aid that was part of the CARES Act basically created this loan that eligible small businesses could apply for and receive from a partnering bank connected with the SBA. And then the loan had a very interesting feature. It could be forgiven if you used it for certain qualifying items. And so here's the latest. The many banks are starting to process their forgiveness applications, okay? The Small Business Administration came out with their forgiveness application, 2 months ago, but banks were reluctant to actually process anything because they were still waiting on guidance. Well, the SBA has continued to release the additional answers to their FAQs and some final rulings and so on. And we're going to link FAQs in the description below if you need to check those out. But some banks have started to process forgiveness applications. Should you? If you run a small business, work for a small business, and have PPP proceeds, should you be applying for forgiveness right now? I know you're probably anxious to do so. You want to make sure it is forgiven. You do everything right. You want to leave some time just in case you've got to go back and gather more information or whatever. But right now, guys, I would tell you, don't be in a hurry to apply for forgiveness. Why? We're still waiting on guidance from the Small Business Administration. What type of guidance? Well, number one, we said, or the SBA has said through the CARES Act, that one of the qualifying items that you can use this loan for and have it be forgiven is for rent, mortgage and rent payments. Well, they came out recently and said, yeah, however, if the rental property, if the property where your business is renting from has same ownership, it's basically owner-occupied real estate, then that rent doesn't count as a qualified use of these funds for the forgiveness. So here at Korhorn Financial Group, we rent some space, but we also own a few of the buildings, and the rent that Korhorn Financial Group pays to rent our own buildings actually doesn't qualify for the forgivable use of this PPP money. Some of you who don't do this all the time are thinking, well, of course it shouldn't qualify. Well, it is a different entity that Korhorn Financial Group is paying rent to, and many businesses operate the same way. They call it owner-occupied real estate. That's not a qualifying use of these PPP funds for the forgiveness. So that was one guidance that just came out, I think it was 2 weeks ago. What about whether health insurance premiums are actually part of the wages that you can use your PPP funds for the forgiveness feature? Turns out they offered guidance on that, and yes, most health insurance and some other benefits are part of wages and can be included in the amount of the forgiveness application when you're applying for how you use these funds. So that's good news. That's good news. What about this big one? The Senate is pushing and proposing that Paycheck Protection Program, PPP loans that were less than $150,000 should have automatic forgiveness. That those of you that received a PPP loan of less than 150 just need to certify that you use the money in the right ways, and then it's automatically forgiven. We're still waiting on that. I actually am a big fan of that idea. Not because I think let's make the process easier, but this process has been a nightmare. There's been all sorts of drama trying to figure out, well, this is what Congress approved, this is what the SBA is actually okay with, this is what the IRS is okay with. It's just been a disaster. So if you can make it easy on small businesses that just received a small loan of less than $150,000, I mean, guys, the program is billions and billions of dollars. So I know $150,000 is nothing to sneeze at, but in the grand scheme of things, that would be a lot of processing cost that could be avoided for these small loans. And so we're still waiting on that. The Senate has a proposal out there. They came out with a proposal a month ago. I haven't seen an update. By the time you watch this, they may have already approved that or rejected it. So that's some guidance. And then finally, the final guidance that we're really still waiting on is they said in the original CARES Act that the forgiveness of this loan is not taxable. The forgiveness will not be a taxable event for you. Wonderful. But when the IRS came out and did their interpretation, they said, well, that's true. The forgiveness of the loan isn't deductible, but the money that you use the forgivable loan for, those expenses, we're not going to let you deduct those expenses. So if you use the money for payroll, that payroll is no longer a deduction. Therefore, your profit's going to be higher. Therefore, in a way, you're going to have to pay tax on this forgivable loan. Well, that's how the IRS appears to have interpreted it, and we're waiting on guidance from the SBA. Is that accurate or not? So we're still waiting on lots of guidance. Here's the deal. Here are your action items if you work at a small business, run a small business, own a small business. Here are your action items. The application deadline, as of right now, it very well could be delayed, is Halloween of this year. We still have a couple of months before you've got to get your application in. So don't be in a rush to proceed with your application for forgiveness if you're still waiting on some key guidance. So work with your SBA approved lender to find out what documents you need and secure all of those documents. Make sure you've reviewed the application. Maybe you filled the application out. Maybe you sat down with your lender and said, all right, am I filling this out correctly? All the documentation you need, I have it here. Is this everything you're going to need? Go over all of that so when it's time to actually submit your application, you're not needing to scramble. That's number one. Number two, be working with your CPA, and you know I'm going to say CFP as well, to make sure that you've got accurate books and records. When you receive the PPP loans, our best recommendation was put those funds in a different account and then make sure you've got all the proper documentation as to how you've used and journaled those dollars to use them for these qualifying reasons. Make sure all of that documentation is up to snuff. A lot of small businesses, you're not spending all day every day focusing on your accounting. You're spending all day every day trying to keep your operation afloat and grow and serve customers. So we see a lot of businesses where they don't update their books accurately 100% until right at the end of the year or after the end of the year to get their taxes done. If you receive PPP money, you cannot wait that long. It's got to be up to date right now. Make sure everything is accurate. And then finally, set yourself a reminder or two in your phone. That's what I do to make sure you don't miss the application deadline for submitting this forgiveness application. And that is, again, October 31st. So there's an update. We know as we're waiting on guidance, there will be more updates to come. I'm hoping they will automatically forgive loans less than 150. And I am still very much hoping, although not holding my breath, that they will allow people to deduct the expenses that you use the PPP money for, thereby holding to their commitment that these funds would not be taxable. So stay here for updates. Once again, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for a CPA and CFP, of course, you can always contact our team here at Korhorn Financial Group. You'll find us online, korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K. WiseMoneyShow.com is also how you can find us, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.